Hello everyone, and welcome back to another WildRift character guide. Today, we'll be going over Mordekaiser, the Iron Revenant. Let's begin. Mordekaiser is a magic damage bruiser that excels in whittling down foes and singling out targets to engage in a duel to the death. Let's take a look at Mordekaiser's abilities to get a better understanding of what makes him such a dangerous opponent to try to take on alone. Mordekaiser's passive, Darkness Rise, grants him passive magic pierce and bonus magic damage on hit. When Mordekaiser lands 3 abilities and attacks a field surrounds him that deals max health magic damage to enemies within it, and he gains bonus move speed for a duration. Landing attacks and abilities on enemies refreshes the duration of the field. Mordekaiser's first ability, Obliterate, smashes his weapon down, dealing damage to everyone hit. Mordekaiser deals bonus damage if he only hits one target. Mordekaiser's second ability, Indestructible, allows him to store the damage he deals and takes to create a shield that lasts for a duration. Mordekaiser can reactivate this ability to convert a portion of the remaining shield into healing. Mordekaiser's third ability, Death's Grasp, launches a claw that deals damage and pulls enemies towards Mordekaiser. This ability can be aimed to send enemies away or closer to him. Mordekaiser's ultimate, Realm of Death, sends himself and the targeted enemy to an alternate enclosed space to fight. Within the space, Mordekaiser steals a portion of the enemy's base stats for the ultimate's duration. If Mordekaiser kills the target while it's still active, Mordekaiser will keep the stolen stats until the enemy he killed is revived. If he fails to kill his target, the stolen stats are returned once the ultimate ends. I recommend upgrading and maxing your third ability, followed by your second ability, and finally your first ability. Mordekaiser excels in drawn-out fights, out-sustaining and whittling them down with his AoE abilities. However, he suffers from his lack of mobility and can easily be kited by enemies, so our focus should be to build items that improve his tankiness and increase his sustain, while also allowing him to stick to his enemies easier. Items such as Riftmaker, Rylai's Scepter, Liandry's Torment, and Psychic Projector all can help keep on the offensive and help Mordekaiser survive while dealing damage. Honourable mentions include Searing Crown and Heartsteel. On the defensive side, Thornmail, Spirit Visage, Force of Nature, and Deadman's Plate further boost Mordekaiser's survivability and help him stay alive longer, while also allowing him to move around in fights easier. For boots, Mordekaiser can use magic boots for a more aggressive playstyle, or he can go plated steel caps or mercury treads to play more defensively. And for enchantments, Gargoyles is the best option to stay in the fight for as long as possible. Moving on to spells, there's a few choices. Ignite for finishing off enemies, Ghost for more mobility in combat, or Exhaust to lock down a slippery target. For runes, Conquerors is best for Mordekaiser, as he wants to stay in the fight for as long as possible. For minor runes, the Resolve Tree helps Mordekaiser stay alive even better. Courage of the Colossus, Second Wind, and Overgrowth synergize nicely with his kit. For your secondary rune, I recommend Demolish, as Mordekaiser's tower damage is fairly low if you have low AP investment. Mordekaiser has a strong early game presence due to his passive AoE. Kill minions and land your Q on enemies to quickly stack it up before your engage. Mordekaiser also has a strong power spike at level 2 and 3. Because of the strength of his abilities, he has amazing CC and sustain to help carry him in the lane against almost every matchup. Once you hit level 5, don't hesitate to use your ultimate. Remember that you gain extra stats and the enemy loses their stats, making them easier to kill. This works excellently in gank attempts, as you can separate them to fight one person at a time. In the late game, you should be grouped up with your teammates to be ready to use your ultimate to take dangerous enemies that could be trouble for your teammates away from the fight. I don't recommend split pushing, as Mordekaiser, as your biggest strength is your ability to act as a wall between you and your squishes. Mordekaiser has powerful setup tools with his third ability, allowing for great follow-ups for your team to capitalize on, and his ability to deal max health damage means he will always be outputting damage that's able to shred even the toughest of frontline tanks. Take advantage of the low cooldown shield Mordekaiser gets to constantly replenish your HP. Remember that your second ability does not decay, so if you're low on HP, be sure to use it to regain health anytime you need it. Stay with your team, keep your passive up for as long as possible, and single out high-profile targets. Number 1. Always try to have your passive active before you ult an enemy. Even within your domain, you can still be kited by enemies, so having the move speed bonus from your passive can really help you continue to stick to your target. Number 2. When you decide to use your ultimate on tanks or bruisers, be sure to use it when they're at a low enough HP, so you can guarantee a kill on them and keep their stats to continue to run down the enemy team while greatly enhanced by the bonus stats. Number 3. Master using your third ability to get enemies away instead of close. When using your third ability, get familiar with how you need to position it to push enemies away when fleeing instead of closer. Getting this mechanic down can be the difference between life or death. Some good matchups for Mordekaiser include characters like Narsus, Sion, Malphite, Kaylee, Gwen and Wukong. Mordekaiser does well against these champions because they need to be within his range to deal the bulk of their damage and have limited escape options versus Mordekaiser's CC. Some bad matchups for Mordekaiser include characters like Darius, Riven, Warwick, Olaf, Aatrox and Fiora. Mordekaiser can have a hard time facing these matchups due to their sustain and better dueling potential. Mordekaiser is an excellent magic bruiser with tons of damage loaded in his kit, which can turn him into an unstoppable force if he can't be kept in check. Practice his strengths and overcome his weaknesses to become an irreplaceable asset to any team composition. If you learned something new, like the video and subscribe to stay in the loop for more WildRift character guides, and comment down below who you'd like to see featured next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.